Hi everybody and welcome to Beyond Politics. I like to think of this channel as home to anyone that believes that whatever government we have, it doesn't matter who's in charge, government should get smaller and less powerful. But currently the contrary is happening. Government is getting more and more bloated and more powerful. And interestingly, crime intelligence also has some developments that is making it easier for us citizens, us law-abiding citizens, to be monitored and tracked. And basically, no one wants to say it, no journalist actually wants to say it, but spied on by the government. And you might think, oh, but I'm not at risk. I'm a law-abiding citizen. It's when certain things that are very normal start to become a threat to the government's power that normal citizens need to worry.
And when we spoke earlier, you actually said that every citizen now becomes a citizen of interest.
A person of interest.
A person of interest. And, you know, they often use that phrase when they haven't been able to charge somebody yet. But just imagine the implications of this. And we're going to give you links to numerous articles speaking about the same topic. And the main focus is crime intelligence actually having the ability now to monitor social media, monitor CCTV camera footage, etc. And this is why I told people, when you invest in cameras in your community, CCTV cameras, make sure it's not connected to the internet, that you guys are monitoring it yourself, if that is what you want to do. There's also bylaws passed in Joburg now, the city of Joburg, which has kicked up a fuss, because police will have access to your private CCTV footage, but you aren't allowed to display that on social media. And you're not allowed to monitor private public spaces, which I completely agree with. That no citizen can just point their cameras out at the street and then monitor people. But the government can and are doing exactly that. And that is the point that we want to make, is that our privacy and how we are seen as citizens has changed, especially in the digital age.
I've said it many times. In the digitized world, as we get more things digitized around us, you have to let go of privacy. The system, a smart city system, cannot work without you having privacy.
Losing all your privacy.
Privacy is a hallmark of freedom. Without privacy, you can't truly be free. And I think that most people, a lot of people feel like, oh, but I don't have to worry because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But that is a fallacy. You need to really educate yourself on the powers government have currently to completely rip your life away from you. And that's the problem. If you want to live in a free society with democratic principles, you can't let government have power over our lives at all, but we've allowed it to happen. So let's get into some of these articles. The one on crime intelligence is interesting because crime intelligence is like, oh, there's been like a campaign against us. We're not falling apart like the media says. But then there's a short little brief paragraph about how they have gained certain tools to increase their monitoring of social media, meaning citizens are really going to be watched. And I think any person that dares to criticize the injustices of the government and who does so consistently and who has somewhat of a following is going to be that person of interest. We are moving into an era, irrelevant of which party is in charge, where criticizing the state institution is going to be seen as an act of treason, not as a freedom within democracy. And I'd love to know what you think about that.
Yeah, please. We would love to see your comments. And in the past, people have been very divided on CCTV cameras because to a lot of people, their safety is more important than their ability to move freely, to do things freely, to think freely, to speak freely. Yeah. And, when crime is actually such an organized thing within a country, allowed by the police, allowed by the military, allowed by the government, then you create a police state.
The solution is for communities to be more organized than the criminals. And I think that the surveillance state and this giving up of privacy is literally the price you pay for being a coward. Get a dog, get self-defense training, get a gun, take up the sport of hunting, and learn how to defend yourself. I have to echo, as controversial as this person is, Jordan Peterson, that you have to be a dangerous person but not be a bad person. And unfortunately, we in this society, it's not an attack on individuals, but as a society over the years, have become cowardly. And we've given up our responsibility And we are losing our freedoms every single day. There's more news on how we're losing our freedoms, and it's our fault. So this is interesting. People love money, and people need money. This is how much is being spent right now on the crime intelligence division that's on the books, that is. And that is, are allocated a budget in 2024 to 2025 financial year of 4.7 billion rand, of which, so 4.74 billion rand, of which 4.39 billion goes towards the salary of employees. So again, it's a little microcosm of the bigger state institution where tons of money is being spent on salaries that are probably unnecessary because they're not doing their jobs, because crime is rampant and only citizens are now being spied on more than anything else. No one's actually going to sort out the real problems because crime makes the world go round. Crime makes the economy go round.
That's about 20% of the South African economy. It's probably bigger now. So if crime stops, the economy will literally collapse. And this shows you when you are a failed state. And you often speak of democracy, the source of democracy, it comes from Greece, and a lot of people not understanding what democracy is. So politicians throw around the word that we are a democratic state, etc. But we are far from it, because with democracy you need active, involved citizens. Like you said earlier, learn how to defend yourself, become self-reliant, get involved in what the state is doing and influence them. So if you don't do that, you cannot have a democracy, and we do not have an active citizenry.
And the sad part is that for that kind of society to work, you need quite a core group of people to be active, to be awake, to be knowledgeable, to be skilled.
A large group.
You need a large group, a good percentage.
And then the second test of democracy is, does the state deliver on what these people demand? And in our country, no, it doesn't. So we do not have a democracy in South Africa. So all these things that you see the crime intelligence do, the government do, the bylaws they pass, it's absolutely to protect themselves. And we focus a lot on how they are trying to get more tax money out of the citizens, because that's what they need to feed this monster that they are creating. And it's just growing and growing. And I would like you to tell me in the comments how you feel about the amount of tax you pay every month and how it is used to pay money towards crime intelligence, to spy on your every move.
So it says here, although the division failed with early warnings leading up to the unrest, Khumalo said the division had improved on tracking and monitoring criminals and persons of interest.
Yeah, you see, you get an event like KwaZulu-Natal, and then they have the reason. Always create the tragedy, and then comes the solution. The solution is always less freedom for citizens.
And the public just fall for it. The government must fix it, not us. We don't take charge of our own lives and communities. No, the government must do it.
They actually forget that the police ran for it during that time, and citizens actually defended their neighborhoods, etc.
Crime intelligence has improved its technological capacity. Fourth Industrial Revolution, everyone. I've been saying forever now that the Fourth Industrial Revolution is the number one problem in this world, but I think it'll become more obvious this year probably. So it's improved its technological capacity by acquiring the Certificate of Exemption in terms of RICA, which gives more capacity in tracking and monitoring. So the
criminals and persons of interest, which is everybody now.
The exemption in terms of RICA, that's a very, very important one. You actually spoke about that a while back. Do you want to elaborate?
So RICA and the laws and the Constitution actually didn't allow crime intelligence to monitor, track and trace people in many ways that they were already in any case doing illegally. Okay, so all that came up is that they were illegally doing it, and now they were given the legal clout to actually monitor, track and trace anything and everything without fear or favor.
So instead of case by case asking for permission to do so, it's just a
mass surveillance
blanket statement
that's
now.
Becoming.
So the division is also intensifying its social media monitoring capabilities. Capacity will be intensified through the acquisition of a new tool, and they don't specify this new tool, and the appointment of social media monitoring specialists, which are at the advanced stage, said Khumalo. So
it's almost like a threat.
Very interested to see where that goes.
Yeah, well, people are going to see people targeted for all sorts of things. You're going to see more treason trials, so-called treason trials, because if you look at the police's definition of treason, even speaking out against the Constitution of South Africa can be seen as treasonous. And our constitution allows itself to be changed. So how on
And
earth
challenge. That's the
and
point of
challenged?
politics.
So how on earth is it treasonous to challenge the constitution? So we have serious problems in this country. You've been set up. The current governance system is designed to destroy your life, this country and everything with it. And until we change that governance system, we will not see success in South Africa. And you are to blame, because when you go to the polls and you vote for people that support more and more CCTV cameras, more and more monitoring, etc., and I can name many of them, you are to blame for your own demise. So do subscribe to this channel. Click the bell icon so you can get notifications for future videos, and share our information with your friends and family. Go and watch our past videos. I think there's a lot of content on this channel that the people can benefit from. And don't just stop at this video. There are many people that have gone and binge watched a lot of our content. Do sign up as a member and join our Thursday evening live chats. We started off was 8. The documents we go through, I think, will really make a difference in people's lives. And tonight is no different. We will be continuing with a document that will have most people aghast if they actually listen to the content.
Yeah, it's very revealing, and it just reinforces everything we've said about global powers as being the biggest threat. With all of this, these things we mentioned today, with surveillance, the government failure, government power, remember that we're still an extremely wealthy nation. We're just missing a national identity. We're missing a leader, and we're missing sovereignty. We're missing also individual liberty. And until we get those things, we will always be at the receiving end of the orders of global organizations and a failed government. And we can change it around. So also, what you must also do is go to beyondpolitics.co.za, sign up to our mailing list to get our newsletter on the website.